we've got the Last Son Returns figure here from SooSooToys, which, if you haven't been paying attention to the community recently, they're dropping some heat and a bunch of cool figures coming out. In fact, I did videos on them already, previews. You can check them out on the channel. But the Last Son Returns, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Brandon Routh version of, you know, Superman on his universe. But this is actually pretty cool. The box is it's kind of bland for a box, but you know, whatever, it's a freaking box. We've got a Superman here with a very large cape and the insert. So there's that. There's a nice detail in there. That's definitely not the figure itself. That's an artist rendering for sure. And then we have the figure, which I've already taken the clamshell off so you can see what's going on here. Keep in mind, he's a large fella. So when I got mine, like the ankles were like bent out kind of crazy to make him fit in the box. I don't know what that's going to do to the actual, you know, boots or whatever, but it seems to be okay. We got a few different hands. We got a flight stand in the bottom of it. Hands-wise, you've got fists that come on the figure itself. So there's that. And then we'll put him to the side for just a second. Just look at this, because I mean, it comes with pretty much nothing. But I guess that makes sense. I'm not sure what else it would come with. But here you go, as my dogs knock over things. But here we go. We've got some hands. They're typical SooSooToys fashion. There's slight paint application on the hands. They're not overly done, but there is some texture there. There's actually on mine, I don't know if, can you see that right there? Can you see that? I don't know if that's supposed to be there or if it's just like where they got heated, or maybe like, I feel like Superman would not have damaged knuckles. So there's that. But yeah, you got some relaxed hands, you got some open hands, flight hands, I guess, if you will, but I kind of feel like he would use a fist. And then you've got a dynamic stand, which is typical SooSooToys fashion, which I do like. I like the blue. I don't know, they often add a lot of color there. They've done it with maybe Daredevil and some other ones, but I kind of dig the blue. We got the insignia on there, and we do have a dynamic flight stand that's actually in the box. But nobody's coming here to look at that. We want to look at the actual figure. So let me get this out of the way so it won't be distracting. And let's look at this figure. Now, I will tell you, first things off the bat, this is a large figure, okay? I think the body they use is a bit more bulky than Brandon Routh actually was or is. I don't feel like he was actually this large. So this is probably a World Box body, if I had to guess. That they've modified, and he's quite beefy and bulky. Like this would be like a good like Arnold Schwarzenegger body or something. Like if you wanted to do like a Terminator figure or something like that, like this would be big. So I think that's probably a little large. That's the first thing I noticed. It's a solid body. Like it feels like a solid chunk of figure. I don't know what it's, you know. There's no weights or anything. It's not die cast, but it's. I mean, it's literally got like Iron Man die cast weight to it. It's solid. On mine, when I first got it, and I left some of it there so you guys can notice this if you like. Kind of zoom in on the head sculpt's actually pretty good, but on the neck there is let's see if I can pop this out. Actually, make it on the inside of the chin. There's some felt padding. And so some of that actually got stuck, maybe in transit on heat or whatever. Some of that felt material transferred to the neck. It comes off. I just wanted to leave some of it there to let you know that if that happens to you, don't be surprised. It does come off. It's not damaged. It's just material that's got to come off. So there's that. Head sculpt wise, I think they did a very fine job. SooSooToys typically does a pretty good job with head sculpts. But I feel like they nailed this one pretty good. Expression is fine. I don't have any complaints about that. I like the different gradations of hair. We've got even with the gray going on. I dig that. I think they nailed that. Got the Superman curl, and you got some gradation on the other side. The neck, because the head they use, it is pretty obvious that there's it's a neck there. But I'm okay with that because it gives us some more mobility. Because if it was a one-piece neck head combo. Flight poses would look very strange, and so I'm okay with that. I'm going to let that pass. The paint application from the head to the body, I think, is fine, even onto the hands. I think that's no issues with that. And then obviously we have the emblem going on here with the black for there. He's there to protect multiple universes, right? So I kind of dig that. The cape is. Well, number one is large. It's large. It's almost as large as what's actually in the promo photo on the box. It's quite large. It's one color. There's no design to it. It's like two pieces of red material sewn together. There's a wire going on this side. There's no wire on the bottom. There's no design detail on the cape whatsoever. So the cape's a little bit of a letdown. I've seen them do better jobs with those. Wires wise, the wire's not the strongest. We'll figure that out when we get to posing. So I'd say, like, just initial thoughts, the cape's a little bit of a letdown. Just knowing what could have been done. Does that make sense? Hope so. But the design on this, I mean, SooSooToys definitely makes good suits. Their tailoring is usually on point, and I have no complaints about this one as well. I mean, the texture going on here, you see this large, bulky thigh thing they got going on. He didn't skip leg day. You got the texture going on. You got texture going on the shorts here. A pleather style belt, and yeah, it looks pretty good. The boots, I'm a little concerned with. I was trying to mess with them, trying to figure out what happens if you run into a problem or whatever. But this is a very bunched up suit material. I feel like they made these too large. Like they've added too much material here, and they just didn't size these quite well. It's a little unsightly, to be honest with you. I don't feel like Superman would run around with his boots looking like that. It almost looks like he's got like broken ankles, but you do have some pivot in there. Got some nice pivot there. You got some nice design on the back. There is a double bend on the knee, but if you do that, you have obvious peggage going on right there. Same thing with the elbow. You have a single joint elbow, but that joint is prominent. It is strong. And I mean, literally have not posed this thing once. This is how you get it out of the box, and you can, I mean, just look at the elbow. They're there. So that might bother some people. It might not bother other ones. You got some ab detail going through the chest. So that's fine. But there is a single joint there. And yeah, so as far as range of motion goes, I mean, it's a World Box body. It'll do a lot of things. So when we get into flight poses, it'll be kind of curious to see what we can, what we can accomplish with it. But I think the one thing that's going to fight against me is going to be the weight of it. That's definitely going to be a thing. And we're going to have to rotate the shoulder up to get that arm above for flight poses. But I kind of dig it. So let's just have some fun with this. See how it poses up. So we've got the figure posed up on the dynamic stand. And I will tell you, the weight of the World Box body they use for this is so heavy. It's actually bending, not the dynamic pole, but the actual clamp that comes with it. I actually broke one of them. So I had a spare. Threw it up there. It's a heavy figure. But anyways, I just happen to have a spare. So I wanted to throw him up here in some kind of flying pose, because if you got Superman, he's got to be flying. I just think that's the way it should be. And the suit material, I think, is sturdy enough to where I'm not really terribly worried about damaging it, even with the clamp. So kind of dig that. I do think a cape upgrade is necessary if you want to do some awesome stuff, just because the wires are not as strong as you might like, and the details not as not as awesome as other capes I've seen. But here is our Superman flying in outer space. I just want to have some fun with it. Thought it'd be kind of cool to do this. You might agree, you might disagree, but I kind of dig it. The colors look great. I do wish SooSooToys would do us a Christopher Reeve style Superman. That would be pretty sick. Even Bella agrees with that one. She thinks they should do that as well. But this one looks pretty stinking good. I hope you guys like this pose. You can steal it. Nothing really super great. The one thing I will tell you is, even in this pose, you can see the elbow joints, which is kind of a bummer. Like straight off. I mean, we're backed up a pretty good ways from this figure, and the elbow joints are kind of popping off at us, which is a tad unfortunate. Regardless of any of that, it's beautiful. Even Bella agrees. All right, so we got Superman posed up in a little flight pose. Obviously, we're kind of flying through the sky, having fun with this thing. So yeah, getting the movement on the arms was not difficult at all. I was actually able to get that. Well, actually, his left shoulder rotated at the actual shoulder joint and maneuver the fabric suit around that as to avoid any creases and damage to that. So that was super cool and easy to do. There's enough movement there to be able to do that. So if you want to have him in flight poses or have the arms above the figure, you're able to do that with a little bit of manipulation. And I mean, I think this is a super cool figure. If you're into the DC universe, and you're into the show, you like Brandon Routh as Superman, this is a good figure. The head sculpt, again, SooSooToys knocked it out of the park. I think they did a fine job with this thing. And if you want to pick one up, their link in the description below for SooSooToys and Pop Collectibles. They've got them in stock if you want to pick one up. But I think this, if you want a Superman figure, this is a good one. I would really like to see them do like the normal Superman insignia on the chest. I know why it's the Crisis Infinite Earth, so I know why it's black in there or whatever, but a proper red and yellow one would be good. Hell, a Dean Cain Superman would be awesome. That would be sick to go, I mean, there's all kinds of different Supermen out there I'd like to have. One of these days I need to pick up the Hot Toys version of Christopher Reeve and add him to the collection as well. But a couple things I would change would be double jointed elbows. I would definitely do that. That would be a thing. And I'd add a stronger wire in the cape, because if you want a flight pose, like it's limp, So there's that. But that's it. So if you guys like this one, let me know in the comment section. And by the way, we're giving this one away. So if you want to check out our Patreon, definitely do that. We're giving this one away this month. It's going to be a lot of fun over there. And then we got more SooSooToys goodness coming up very soon. We have the Iron Man mech test thing coming out. The set from Hot Toys, that's coming. Super excited for that one as well. There's all kinds of other videos. So as always, click what you like. See you next time.